Hi, my name is Ashley Gallegos, and today I'm going to be showing you how to undress and dress your patient. So the first thing that you want to do is knock before entering. Then you are going to identify your patient, and then you are going to identify yourself with your name and your job title. And then you are, if your patient has any visitors, you are just going to politely ask them to wait outside until you are done performing this procedure. And also before and throughout this procedure, you are to explain the steps that you are performing to your patient. And also throughout this procedure, you are to protect your patient's rights as well as being gentle with them. So the first thing that you want to do is wash your hands, and then you're going to gather all of your supplies. So the supplies that I'm going to need today are a bath blanket and the clothing that my patient requested. And then I am just going to identify my patient using two identifiers now, and then I am also going to be providing for privacy, so closing any curtains, shutting the doors, anything like that. And if I need help moving my patient, I would just ask a coworker to help me. And so also make sure you raise the bed for good body mechanics, and then just make sure that you lock the bed wheels. And if they do have bed rails, you could just lower the side that you are working at, and then when you are done with the procedure, make sure you raise the bed rails up. And so now we would place the bath blanket over my patient, and then I would remove the top linen from underneath the bath blanket. And so now I would be taking off my patient's top. So if they have a open front garment, we would undo the buttons, the zippers, anything like that, and then we would take off the garment from their strong side and then their weak side last, and make sure you are raising their shoulders and their head. And if they are unable to raise their shoulders and their head, then you are going to face them towards you, and then you are going to take off the garment from their strong side, and then you are just going to have your patient go in the supine position. Just make sure that they are not laying over the garment, and then you could take off the other sleeve from their weak side. And so if our patient, and then just make sure that you position them back in the supine position. And so if our patient has a open back garment, we would raise their head and shoulders, and then we would untie, unzipper all the buttons and anything like that, and then we would raise their head and shoulders, and then we would take off the garment from their strong side first and then their weak side last. And if they were unable to take off their garment, we would position them away from us, and then we would take off the garment from their strong side first, and then we would have them roll over onto the supine position, and then you could take off the garment from the weak side, and if they have, and then just position them back in the supine position. And if your patient has a pullover garment, then you are just going to raise their head and shoulders, and then you are going to take off the garment from their strong side first and then their weak side, and then just get it past their neck and head. And so now after you have taken off their garments, then you could remove their pants. So the first thing that you want to do is remove their footwear as well as their socks, and then you are going to undo their belt and then their buckles, zippers, anything like that. And then make sure that they are also in the supine position when you are doing this. And then you are going to have your patient raise their buttocks and hips, and then you are just going to take their pants off, and then once you get it past their buttocks and their hips, they can lower it. and then you could take the rest of their pants off. And if your patient is unable to raise their buttocks or their hips, you're going to have them face towards you, and you are going to take off the pants from their strong side first, and then you're going to position them on the other side, and then have them I'm going to help them take off their pants from their weak side after, and then make sure you position them back in the supine position. So that is how you undress your patient. So now I will be explaining how you dress your patient. So if your patient has a open front garment, you are going to put the weak side in first, and then you are going to go around the back and then put the strong side in after, and then you're just going to tie, zip, anything like that. And if your patient is unable to raise their head or their shoulders, then you're just going to position your patient away from you, and then you are going to put the garment on from their weak side first, and then you're going to make sure that you tuck in the other garment, so when they roll over, they're not rolling over their garment when they go in the supine position. And then you are going to put on the strong side after. And so now if your patient has a open back garment, you are going to raise their head and shoulders, and then you are going to put the the weak side in first, and then you are going to put the strong side last, and then you are going to button, zipper, anything like that. And if your patient is unable to raise their head and shoulders, then you are going to position them towards you, and then you are going to put the garment on from the weak side first, and then you are going to have them roll over, and then you're going to put the garment on from their weak side, their strong side after. And if your patient has a pullover, then you are going to raise their head and shoulders, and then you are going to put the garment over their head and neck. So you could put the garment from their weak side first, and then their head and neck, and then their strong side, and then put the garment on. And if they are unable to position their raise their head and shoulders, then you would put the garment over their head and neck, and then you could position your patient on their side and do the weak side first, and then roll them over and have them do the strong side after. And then also, when you are done putting on their garments, just make sure that you position them in the supine position. And so now we are going to be putting on our patient's pants. So we would put the pants on, and then we would have our patient raise their buttocks and hips, and then we would put the pants over, and then we would button, zipper, anything like that, and then put the belt on. And if our patient was unable to raise their buttocks and their hips, then we would position them on their side, and we would start from their weak side first and put the pants on that side, and then have them turn on the other side, and then put the pants on their strong side, and then position them back in the supine position, and then button their pants, and then buckle the belt. And then we can also put on their socks as well as their footwear. So basically, when you are undressing your patient, you want to take off the strong side first and then the weak side last. And if you are dressing your patient, you want to begin with the weak side first and then the strong side last. And so after that, you are going to put on their side, and then you are going to put the garment on from their weak side first, and then put the garment over their head and neck, and then put the garment on from their strong side after. And so after that, we are going to put on their side, and then you are going to put the garment over their head and shoulders, and then you are going to put the garment on from their weak side first, and then put the garment over their head and neck, and then put the garment on from their strong side after. And so after that, basically, when you are undressing your patient, you want to Since our patient, we would just position them back in the supine position, and then we would lower the bed since we raised the bed for good body mechanics. So we would just lower it and make sure that the bed wheels are locked and that our patient is comfortable and in good alignment. We would put back the call light and any other items within their reach, and then we would do a safety check around the room, and then we can unscreen the person. I could wash my hands, and then I could just report and record my observations to the nurse. And that is how you undress and dress your patient. Thank you.